Recorded live from the GOT Sound Studio in Columbia, South Carolina, this is the All About Nothing podcast. The views expressed on this program are the opinions of the hosts. Listeners are encouraged to follow the show on Twitter at AAN_pod or at theallaboutnothing.com. You can email the show at theallaboutnothing.com. You may also call and leave the show a message at 803-672-0533. Thank you for listening.
All right, welcome back to another episode of the All About Nothing podcast, season 4, episode 80.
80. It's
80.
monumentous day.
It's another one of those milestones.
Momentous day?
Momentous works.
Yeah, there we go.
Momentous works. Trying to get our timer started because otherwise
we'll go over hours and hours.
It'll happen.
Yeah, we'll do it.
It happens. You know what? Regardless of the timer, it happens. Like I said it for 35 minutes every single time, and it's like 35 minutes hits, and it's like, all right, well, we're just on a roll.
Don't stop the train of thought.
We did take a week off last week.
We did.
I think ultimately we all had something go on.
Yeah. Mine was a good something go on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Lake Day got bumped from Saturday to Sunday out of my control for Keith, one of our guests previously.
Whitaker.
Yes. Yeah. And so I was like, well, it was his birthday, so I can't miss that. And his whole family was there, so it was good to see them get out in the sun.
Right. Welcome back,
Thank you.
Zach. Appreciate you being able to hear. Myself, Zach King, Barrett Gruber. We are sans Trent Clark this week, and I won't go into any details on what's going on with him, but just know we look forward for his return.
Yes, we do. And we wish him well.
Yeah, absolutely. We did take last week off unexpectedly. Zach, again, he was on the lake. I had an absolutely, I have to say, a wicked Sunday.
You fist fought a couple people out here.
Wouldn't that be something?
It's my Nintendo Wii. We're like, dude, there's so many Nintendo Wiis. You don't have to fight over it.
You know what's funny about that? I'll tell you. We'll look. This week's show is probably going to be a lot about nothing, like the title intends. Look, last week was wicked. Sunday, woke up Sunday morning and fulfilled one of my Patreon duties, which is if we have a Patreon, then anytime they ask for something, then I fulfill it. Yeah. Me, who is our lone Patreon.
Yeah.
I started out the day by going kayaking over at Lake Monticello with my boy Brody and Ami and her son. I went in my brand new kayak.
Nice. Broke her in. Maiden voyage.
It was a really good trip. I enjoyed the paddling over. I enjoyed. It was a very comfortable ride. Yeah, it should be. Yeah, there we go. It was a very comfortable ride. I don't think I have any complaints.
Tip overs.
No tip overs.
No tip overs.
No, especially not in the lake. Because tip over in the lake, I'm a goner. I may not be a goner. I imagine I can probably make it. You know, it's only a mile between the island, and I've done a mile swim plenty of times when I was much
that's
younger.
when you drop out and then hang on to the top and like, well, son.
Well, and what's nice about it being a sit-on-top kayak is that I can pull myself back up onto it, and it will self-empty of water.
Nice.
I'm trying to find out. Yeah. So again, I was fulfilling my Patreon obligations by going kayaking. And if anyone else signs up as a Patreon, they go to our website. They can follow the link at the top. I will go kayaking with you as well.
That would be awesome. I'm going to become a patron of our own show just so Barrett has to take me kayaking.
I'll do it. I'll bring the kayaks.
I had the opportunity this weekend because we went away to a cabin in the woods. And they had kayaks, but they were full of water.
Okay.
Our buddy eventually got them drained, but we took out the canoe, and that was fun. So we went fishing on the pond with the canoe, 14-acre pond, so pretty big.
Nice,
pond.
That's pretty big.
Probably why we couldn't find the fish; they were all hiding somewhere.
Yeah. Well, I have informed our Patreon that I will indeed begin fishing because. You know, I feel like it's one of those things that I should potentially know how to do in case, I have to one day live by fishing.
Yeah. Fishing definitely is, it can be a pain, but you learn through the doing.
Yeah.
People could tell you their secrets and all, and they found it all. And you're like, oh, wow, it could work for them solely and not for you. So.
Right. Well, so I will say Sunday morning until noon, 12:30 or so. Had a really good time. We went out to the island, did a lot of swimming, basically just hung out, had lunch, and then came back. This is the point at which the story goes south.
Oh no. Get a little windy out there.
No, the getting back and getting so okay. Here's I like to drive with the cruise control on.
Well, hold on. Did the kayaking take place on the Sunday?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It was going to take place on Saturday, but looking at the weather forecast, we saw
same.
Yeah. So that's essentially what held it up. Okay. So we get back over to the carport or the launch, boat launch. We get the kayaks back up on the cars. Prior to this, when we got there, I lost the use of my gas pedal again because look, here's the thing.
You need a new throttle cable.
That's essentially what I'm getting at with that. So I let the car cool off. Car cools off, I can put the throttle cable back on. No problem. It's not an issue. That was fine. Got the kayaks on top of the car. Brody strapped them down. Ami had me check hers and Dylan's to make sure it was strapped down.
I mean, you're talking about kayaks. For some reason, I was thinking you were putting a boat in the water, and I was like, that's an eerie situation.
That's Endeavor. Yeah.
No, you pick these up and put them in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Just with two hands.
No.
And a boat. I could probably do it with a smaller one.
Yeah, like a John boat.
You
absolutely could.
I don't know, John. I'm not nearly as strong as I used to be. Okay, so regardless, the tragedy occurs on the way home.
Okay.
And you don't know about this, and I've not told a whole lot of people about this.
No, this is breaking news for me.
So my son Brody was the one that tightened the kayaks down. I checked Ami and Dylan's to make sure that their kayaks were tightened down. Mm-hmm. I forgot to check mine. We were on 26 coming back. We had just gotten on the interstate at the peak exit. And got to about the underpass for Coon Road.
Yeah.
And that is the point at which my brand new kayak became unattached to the car and flew off, bouncing off the bumper of the car behind me and hitting the bumper of the minivan in the lane next to us. And if you're on I-26 and you were on I-26 last Sunday, around 1:30 or 2 o'clock.
Shit.
I apologize. That was me.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So the vehicle that was directly behind me, he actually came to a stop. I kept going because there's nowhere on 26 to come to a stop, to get off the road or anything because they have barriers for all of the construction. I kept going, got off at Broad River. I take that back. I kept going until I could pull off into the emergency lane. The guy that was directly behind me, he drives up as I'm standing there and he says, "Hey, I got the kayak off the road. It's over on the other side of the barrier."
Awesome.
I'm like, holy crap, that's awesome. Thank you so much because I feel bad. I saw it hit your car. He was like, no, it didn't hurt any of my car. It's perfectly fine. That thing's made of plastic. You're good. The woman also that it bumped off of hers, it did not actually cause any damage on her car. It bounced off of hers.
Man, that's great that it didn't mess them up.
Yeah, it also went under a tractor trailer.
Oh shit!
So the kayak's gone.
He's like, I didn't tell you this. It was 2 pieces of a kayak.
Yeah, he didn't mention that part. I was on the phone with the state troopers and Highway Patrol, Department of Highway Safety or whatever, basically trying to find out what do I need to do. He's like, no, you don't have to worry about it. If it's demolished, then the Department of Highway or the STAR guys, the Highway Patrol people, they'll pick it up on Thursday. They go through and pick up all the trash. It's like, okay, in the off chance that it's salvageable, what's the possibility that someone could call me and say, hey, we've got this kayak, he said, not likely.
Not at all.
Yeah.
None.
No possibility.
Call Barrett. We found that kayak.
Yeah, exactly. I know people. There was no chance.
Oh my God.
And I feel terrible about it because
you never laid eyes on the results.
No.
Well, then how do you know that it was? Who told you that the?
I took his word for it because it wouldn't be any point. There's nowhere that I could potentially.
The dude who threw it over was like,
yeah,
it's done.
Yeah, he seemed reputable. I felt like he was being honest.
I'm just glad you're not pissed off at me.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, I put your. Thankfully, no one was injured. No one got hurt.
Stared at Brody with the eyes centuries deep and true of anger.
I have to admit, this was one of those growing situations where I recognized that I put a lot of trust into him and said this was something he took responsibility for. And even though I was very upset when it initially happened, it didn't take long before I was like, holy crap, this is my fault. I'm the parent. I'm the adult.
Yeah.
I should have checked.
It's 100% one of those, take a second, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, deep breaths.
Yeah. And he was upset. He
probably felt bad. I'm sure he felt bad.
Awful.
Yeah.
And I tried to make sure he understood that even though my reaction initially was anger, and I was upset, I was very upset. This is the first and only time I got to take that kayak out. I wanted to make sure he understood that in no way, shape, or form am I holding him responsible for this at all, because he doesn't need to think that he caused any of it. Yeah, he didn't. He
did what he thought he could do.
Exactly. Yeah, and I appreciated the effort that he put into it, and I appreciated the fact that he. I don't know. I don't know what else to say except
if we were all screwed for our mistakes when you earnestly tried, we'd all be done for.
Absolutely agree.
I remember it was 2013 ish. I had my Jeep Grand Cherokee that I just got done fixing the motor on. I'm talking rod bearings, everything.
Yeah,
I was proud of this thing, and I helped just move my mom and my brothers riding with me.
Right,
and we had the trailer; it was empty.
Okay,
and I trusted my brother that he hooked it to the hitch and everything fine. I get off on peak exit, and it goes doom. Comes undone, right, chains jumps off, slams into the back of me and shoots into the woods. Gosh. Luckily, it didn't hit any cars or anything, but my brand new Jeep has a cracked bumper. I'm glad the tongue didn't come through the back windshield or something, but I remember looking at my brother and being like, I want to slap your face off of your body, but it was the same thing. You thought it was attached.
I should have checked.
Yeah, and I definitely should have gone and checked.
I did not do my due diligence. No. I did not verify.
That's that shit happens, man.
Yeah.
It totally does.
That was the end result of last Sunday for me. So you're out on the lake having a good time. I'm out on the lake having a good time. And then everything just kind of collapsed. And at that point, I was home. There was a potential if you had been available or Trent had been available, we probably still could have done the podcast, but it would have been me sitting here doing...
bottles of Maker's Mark just
yeah. No, I
know it really grinds my gears.
No, I partook in homemade fudge almost as soon as I got home. So
yeah, one of those things just no one talk to me. Pretend I'm in a box of a cubicle.
And that's not to say that we won't have one of those episodes one day where we'll do that, just because
we came in because we needed the therapy.
Yeah, exactly.
Legitimately.
Yeah, so that was my excuse. So I apologize for not being available. Yours, don't apologize for, because it was Keith's birthday. You had a good time, right?
Well, yeah, but it was Saturday was the go out day, and like you said, weather was going
to prohibit that.
Well, and then Sunday was a little shite when it came down to it. It got a little hairy. It was white capping at one point. We were throwing down anchors everywhere.
Oh wow!
And let's face it, if the anchor doesn't hit something good to hold on to, your pontoon's moving, your tri-tune's
of course.
moving. And so we're like, all right, we're floating around. We go beach it onto an island, but it's still the wind was blowing hard, so eventually we're parallel with the island.
Right.
And we're like, all right, what are we going to do now? Let's go to a little more shallow of a cove, throw down the anchor. Finally, the sun came out, and it was awesome because it was like the sun came out and the clouds split just for where we were.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And Eden loved it. I mean, she already loves the water, but we got to put her in a little life jacket and then put her in a little floaty. She kicked around. She kicks so well in the water for being now 9 months old that we had to tie a rope around her. Yeah. And we're like, you're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And then at times you're grabbing onto the rope, okay, now I'm going somewhere. Yeah. It was a fantastic time, and getting to see all Keith's family. They do cool stuff like that.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah.
Keith actually has a boat, but it's getting reupholstered, and the guy who was reupholstering it for this company quit. So they're waiting for another guy to come in and finish doing it.
Do we know Keith's the company Keith is using?
No, I don't know.
That's a shame. We would have.
I've seen the place. I don't remember where it was. Yeah.
Not the value of it, but
it was a big cabin cruiser. But we used to. My brother-in-law, he owns Doss Marine, so you can ding for that one out there in Chapin. So If I lived closer to Chapin, if it was easier all the time, we used to go out all the time on the lake. So I miss it. But those chances you do get to go out, I can't pass them up.
See, and people get irritated at me when I say things about Lake Murray. I like Lake Murray. I like going out on Lake Murray, especially up near Dreher Island. We go camping at Dreher Island once or twice a year. I don't want to be on Lake Murray any further east than like Ballantyne.
Sure.
Because the poop to water ratio gets a little too close.
Oh, dude,
for me.
I got a story for you from that too, though. So the last time we went out with Keith on the lake, I jumped in and a wave came and hit me and my mouth was open and I got a belly full of it. I instantly just started puking everywhere.
Yeah, of course.
I'm like, I know, I used to work on the lake. I know what people do in the lake.
Yeah.
And the poop is very accurate.
Yeah.
All right. And just disgusting. We went out this time and some just got in my mouth. Same thing. You know, a wake comes by and it hits you and you didn't expect it. It just went in my mouth, and I was like, I'm sitting there holding on to the prop, like not the prop, but the motor itself.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right. And they're all like, imagine all that poop, and they're all just hanging down. I'm like, fuck you guys. Like, I'm already about to throw up, and it was just in my mouth.
Yeah.
Like, please quit.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, that's too much.
I used to work on it. I grew up on it. I know, and it's disgusting. And those people out there who are just like, "Oh, it's okay," and like spit it out. I'm like,
No. That was fecal matter in your mouth.
Yeah,
I know. Look, I see plenty of people when we go camping. There, I see people all the time that are out there, and again, we're further west than further west than Ballantyne and Chapin. We're west enough where the population numbers decrease.
Yeah.
But I also know that there are people along the lake that are just willing to pay the fines to have their sewage just pumped directly into the lake.
Really?
Like, oh, yeah.
I didn't know they pump sewage in the lake.
They're not supposed to.
They just. But
they're also not. They're also, from what I remember hearing, I don't know if they're supposed to also be pulling water out of the lake specifically just to water their yards. Or is that okay?
Growing up, my grandparents had a lake. Their house was a lakefront property house, and they drew the water from the lake.
Okay.
And we had DNR come out there because we were the first. My family was the first family back in like 1998 to could have been before, so don't hold me to this, fans. But we were the first. The DNR agent told us we were the first to report leeches.
In the lake?
Yes.
That's interesting.
My brother, sister, dad, and mother all got leeches. I just got lucky that I didn't have one on me.
I don't think I've ever gotten leeches out of Lake Murray. Like, it's just not well, that's like when we go camping, like one of the things I don't really concern myself is with mosquitoes. I mean...
Yeah, I always bring thermocells with me.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Then again, though, if the wind blows, thermocells...
Right. You just moved that dome of protection over there.
Yeah. So, I mean, but the leeches were a big shock because you always heard...
Thermocell.
And I had already seen Stand By Me. And if you hadn't seen Stand By Me, there's a very grotesque leech scene where it's on his junk.
There's a lot of grotesque scenes in that movie.
Sure. But
the pie eating contest.
The leech on his balls or wherever, his nether region.
There was a lot of blood.
Yeah.
I didn't understand all the blood. Like, I've had leeches on me. Like,
was it River Phoenix? He was the one, or was it Will Wheaton?
I think it was Will Wheaton.
It might have been Will Wheaton. Yeah, because he the look on his face and like.
Yeah.
I remember that because we were rinsing off from being in the lake, and to mess with my brother, I said, "Oh, look, there's a leech on your foot," and he goes, "No," and he pokes it, and it doesn't come off. It was actually a leech. And then my sister had two, my dad had two, like on his chest.
Man,
and I was like,
do leeches swim? I thought leeches just kind of hung out near the bottom.
They had to come from because they had a dock out there, but we would walk in.
Okay.
Over the riprap into the mud.
Okay. Yeah, I've pulled leeches off before, like, if we were at a creek or something like that, or if we were walking through a creek and I had my shoes off, but I've never had them any higher up than like my ankle.
Right.
And it's not a pleasant experience to try and pull one of these things off, especially if it's really attached. But they generally let go pretty easy.
Yeah.
And then you use them as bait.
I think if you were to see them swell up with your blood, they'd be
that would be different.
Story.
Well, that's like almost every time I hit. Like if there's a mosquito flying around, let's say I'm out in the car, or I'm hanging out in the parking lot or something like that. And there's a mosquito flying around, and I grab it in my hand and I look at my hand. I'm like, oh, blood.
I've read.
Wait, whose blood is this?
Yeah.
And I honestly sit there and think about it. I was like, I don't know that I got bit, and this is almost a murder scene.
I think the thing that creeps me out the most is like, I'm not ignorant and so credulous to think that parasites aren't on my skin right now as well as yours.
Yeah.
But a physical giant parasite within my realm, not in like the microverse of things, that creeps me out, man.
It does.
Like if someone has tapeworm, that's weird, bro. There's a thing that's surviving off of you. Leeches are surviving off of you.
Children.
Yeah.
I say that because I'm sure my parents could probably say the same thing.
Oh, absolutely. My dad just referred to us as the free labor. Go out and mow the lawn.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
I do all the lawn mowing at the house, and I honestly, the reason I do it is it's kind of therapeutic.
Yeah, lethargic or not lethargic.
It's completely tracked. I go up the line, I come down the line. I go up the line, down the line.
Gabriella and I have decided we're building a house out there in Lexington, and I can't wait to mow the lawn.
Yeah,
and I'm going to be the guy who gets the lawnmower with the roller on it, so I can baseball line the backfield and stuff.
All right.
The cool thing is, and my father-in-law loves baseball, and we'll have like 10 acres maybe of land. Don't think I won't throw a field down out there.
That'd be cool.
Just for fun, a dirt field.
Well, did you see that is it the Yankees and the Tigers? Who is it? They're going to be they're going to be playing at the field that inspired Field of Dreams.
Yes, I have heard that.
They're now ticket sales, of course.
Why Detroit?
Is it Detroit? I can't remember if it's Detroit. I got to look up.
Yankees I can see because Shoeless Joe Jackson and all
right.
that.
It's I hold on. I'm gonna look that up.
I feel like you would have to have an NL and an AL team together on it.
Yeah, it's definitely two American League teams.
Boo on them.
Let me see. It's going to take place in Iowa, and it will be broadcast on Fox August.
It'll be the first time Iowa's seen that many people anywhere
in all of Iowa,
outside of. University of Iowa or Iowa University, the Hawkeyes. I got to give them the respect. Those boys are tough.
I was wrong. It's the Yankees and the White Sox. So it's Yankees in Chicago. So two teams that probably aren't going to make the postseason.
They needed some kind of spectacle for the.
Although I was reading the other day that everybody was all awestruck because the Yankees beat Boston today in some fluke where Boston apparently let go. Whatever. It's big. 162 games. I'm not that upset about the fact that the Braves are not having a 500 season yet, only because the Mets are only like 3 games above 500. The Phillies are at 500.
And the Mets are the ones we can go play and be like, bam, bam, bam.
Right. Yeah, the Mets historically also once they get towards the 3/4 mark on the season, they just start to fall apart. I mean, everyone's injured. Everyone's worn out. It's 162 games. It's a long season.
The thing about the Braves is the bats being so on and so off.
It's really odd. And I'd like to chalk it up to the fact that they just, like, one game they have really awful pitching, the next game they have done. Now, these are starters. These are starters in Major League Baseball. There's something about the Braves bats that they just can't create any consistency.
And I think when it comes to pitching, too, I think our pitching needs to step up a bit, too. But the one pitcher we can rely on is Max Hollywood Hair Fried.
Yeah.
I mean,
Max Fried is doing, and Charlie Morton is doing really well.
Yeah. And Max Fried walked us off at bat.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to talk about
that was fun to watch.
Who's the Japanese man? I can never remember his name. He is a marvel, though. I love it.
Osaka.
Yeah, something like
for the Angels. Right?
Apologize for not knowing his name, but yeah,
he's leading the league in home runs,
and he's like a lights out pitcher.
Yeah. First of all, he's playing in the American League. Like, how did they know? Oh, we're going to stick him. Is he in there as a designated hitter?
That's the question. I haven't watched an Angels game because it was a big thing, him going into the home run derby, and he still hit 20-something.
Yeah. Well,
and then he got a call from Mike Trout during the timeout. He was probably like, I don't understand what you're saying, but thanks,
Mike. Don't they play together?
Yeah.
Wasn't Mike Trout there at the home run derby?
No, I don't know if he was or not.
He might not have been.
They had what's funny is Stephen A. Smith took that awful hot take.
Yeah.
But the truth of the matter is what they talk about, just like Acuna, he can communicate with his teammates.
Right.
he just doesn't feel comfortable giving you a full-on interview and sounding
not without a translator,
unproficient.
Yeah,
in a language that he's not totally familiar with. Dude, I get that.
Yeah, Ronald wants to be around in baseball for 20 years. Yeah. Like, he wants to be around until he's 40 years old.
He gets better and better at English every year.
Yeah, he does.
And so, Stephen A. Smith, we hadn't had a chance to really talk about that, but I think I'm not a cancel culture person, but that shit is the reason why that show sucks.
Yeah, I agree.
Him and it's Stephen A. Smith and the white dude wears the sneakers all the damn time.
Yeah.
I cannot remember his name. That show is just nothing but hot takes.
Yeah,
and it was a matter of time until some kind of very distasteful hot take came through.
Yeah, of course.
Who should the face of baseball be? It doesn't matter.
What does it matter? It doesn't.
It doesn't.
Yeah, I another baseball take this week. Do you see Cleveland Indians have given themselves a new name?
Yes,
starting 2022, Guardians. I see.
Someone said, "What? This is when you can't think hard enough to without what." They only replaced half of the letters of their names. It's still the IANS.
I didn't think about
So it's like
that.
when you're not smart enough to think of anything else, you only replace half the letters of your name.
What are you going to do,
from the Indians to the Guardians?
Well, I imagine there's some backstory as to why they chose the Guardians as the name.
It's fine, man. Like,
what does it matter?
You guess what, bigot? You got to get used to it.
Yeah, because I heard someone's overreaction to it, and they said something along the lines of, they're erasing our history, and I was like, whose history are they erasing?
You're called the Indians. That's a misnomenclature or whatever you call it from the get, because that's basically Columbus landing and going like India, and they're like, we're Native Americans basically, or we're Apache or not whatever, and they're like, no, you're Indians. You're Indians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was a complete mistake, and a mistake that went on for
ever.
Oh Lord, what 400, 500 years? Yeah. It's one of those things. Is we are now at the point where I don't have any issue with these teams changing their names.
No,
because somebody said, well, what are you going to do when they change the Braves? And I was like, well,
will they? I mean, they say. The Braves isn't a negative connotation. Indians was.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Redskins
what it was. Yeah. Seminoles are not. And the Seminole Nation backs FSU on that, right?
The Braves have the Creek Nation, the Cherokee, several sects of the Cherokee Nation that have all come out in support of the Braves.
Yeah, fighting the Braves would be the same thing as fighting like Michigan State. They're the Spartans, and there's a bunch of Greeks over there going like.
See, in my head, I was going with the Wolverines. I was like, yeah, I'd be a little offended. Wolverines, being made in Michigan.
Stanley has like a petition out there back in the day.
But yeah, but I don't see the Braves having the same negative connotation. With that name attached to the Atlanta baseball team. But I'll be honest, I knew Cleveland was eventually going to drop Indians. I honestly thought they were going to drop Indians and just go with the same thing that Washington did, just be the Cleveland baseball team.
I laughed when Washington became the Washington football team. It works.
I like it.
It works. That jump to judgment, like here's what we're doing for right now.
Yeah.
It worked.
See, and here's the thing. They didn't make that announcement. They didn't make the decision to go to the Washington football team until after they had done loads and loads of having people testing it. Like they knew exactly what they had when they released it. It wasn't like it was all of a sudden they're like, well, we can't think of anything else, so we're just gonna be the Washington football team. No, it's because there were enough consumer markets, and they made sure that this name worked for everybody.
Right.
The only people that were upset about it was Fox News.
Yeah.
Fox News was like, holy crap, Washington, D.C.'s got a football team?
Yeah.
I know the Washington Redskins, but what football team is this?
Yeah.
It's like, it's the same team.
And you look cooler. You got the Alabama vibes with the yellow number on the helmet.
Yeah.
I think that's fine, dude.
It works.
That gives them a more tougher image to me.
I get irritated, though, when I hear the same whining. Well, it's like, well, what are you going to do when they change the Braves? It's like, well, if they change the Braves.
Down to it happens.
Whatever.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah. Call them the Hammers. Because that was something that somebody mentioned. Well, we could change them to the Atlanta Hammers.
We could be the Atlanta Crackers again.
Could be. That's true.
Sidebar. Apparently, the Crackers was a game where, like, the old school, back in the 70s, old school players came together to play, and everyone who played was, like, 70 or above, like 60 or above.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I saw it on Baseballer. Check that out. That's a good site to follow on Facebook. But a 75-year-old man hit a home run in that game.
Holy crap.
And while he's running to second base, the pitcher comes up with his glove and he pats him on the head. He's like, you old son of a bitch. Because he's 65 too. And he's like, I gave you a softie. Who knew you were going to ding it out to the left field? And this little 75-year-old man's just like jogging the bases.
Nice.
Like, oh, dude, it was. I'll send it to you after this. Maybe we could link it.
At 62, isn't every pitch kind of a softie?
I don't know, man. I think that's awesome to bring out these old timers. Like, all right, have it every year. If you have the All-Star game, call it the Hall of Fame game, and have old guys come back. It'd be like from let's go like 55 to like 65.
Yeah,
and be like let's see what these guys still have for one game and line them up.
Yeah, I just when it's like someone's been personally affected by the name change for some of these teams because it's because the teams have now become less racist with their team name.
Yeah,
you know. They want to drag me into it and say, well, what are you going to do when they change the name of the Braves? I'll still support the Atlanta baseball team because that was the team I grew up with, and I don't.
Same.
I get. Look, I have a lot of jerseys that say Braves on it. I have a lot of jerseys that say Atlanta on it.
I'll still wear them. I mean, that's what I got.
Look, it's a Friday.
Even if you wanted to take away the tomahawk off of it or something like that, whatever.
I'm fully supportive of that.
And you could switch it over to like some kind of nationalism where not in the bad sense, but where you're the home of the Braves.
There's some nationalism that really just kind of goes the wrong direction.
Yeah, there is bad nationalism, but like you can make it a patriotic thing after that, home of the Braves. Now we're the Braves, and it's in block letters. Is that better for you? Okay.
I have no problem with any of it.
No. If it comes your way, it comes your way.
And I know what they're doing. They're just trying to see if they can get me riled up, or to see if I'll change. I'll change my viewpoint on it when it affects my team.
Right.
But it's like it's not going to happen.
It's the same as when a team changes their for football helmets and jerseys or something. It's like, are they the same players? Yeah. They the same coach? Yeah. Well, you better work with what you got.
Yeah.
We're called the Gamecocks. We're chickens. You know how appealing that is to everybody? Well, not great, but you can make it very... Shane Beamer's doing a great job making that very appealing.
Yeah. And
you can make the Cleveland Guardians very appealing.
Yeah, and historically, with the Carolina Gamecocks, I mean, they have to change their coaches and players at least every 4 years.
Shut up. Wait, who's the head coach of Georgia Tech? Who's your starting quarterback?
I don't know. Look, I'm the wrong guy to ask. I'll watch. I'll enjoy watching, even if they're losing. I will enjoy watching football this season because this season, football's back to normal.
Supposedly, those teams that are, because they're not going to force anybody to get vaccinations.
Correct.
But most of these SEC teams are fighting for that 80% and above because if you can't play, you forfeit a game. That's an L.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
A huge deal.
And you would think that would, especially with like Missouri leading the charge on resurgence of cases.
Yeah.
Los Angeles just putting in mask mandate again.
For the life of me, I don't understand people not. I don't understand groups that are, especially with football.
Well, your anti-vaxxers have always been out there, right?
Of course.
Excuse me.
I just don't understand. I understand like individuals saying, "I'm nervous about getting the shot. I'm uncomfortable with the idea of getting the shot or the vaccine." I get that, and I'm never going to pressure anybody. Jonathan's here, and I asked him if because he told me he had gotten COVID, and I asked him. I said, "Have you gotten the vaccine yet?" And he said, "No, I'm nervous about getting it." I understand. I completely understand.
That's the same kind of people when you go to the doctor and then you think it's a normal doctor visit and they're going to draw blood.
Right.
And then you go, I wasn't prepared, but you're already there.
Yeah.
So they're going to draw your blood.
Well, my preparing is not eating breakfast that day and not having coffee. So my blood pressure is not real high. So my cholesterol is not high because I didn't eat.
You're doing everything to fade out.
I want the perfect test results. Yeah, exactly. And they're perfect.
Perfect.
But I totally understand people. But you're playing football against, for the SEC teams, you're playing football against 12 other teams.
Maybe 16.
Well, all right. So South Carolina, you're playing against 12 other teams. Georgia Tech, you're playing against, you potentially may only be playing about 10 other teams. Because the ACC.
Well, you know what I'm referring to, correct?
Yes, of course.
Texas and Oklahoma wanting to come
Texas
in.
and Oklahoma are coming in. But is that going to raise the number of games that will be played?
You'll have to at least increase by one SEC game, wouldn't you think?
I don't know. It depends on how if they
were talking
split
about
up into
this
a
4-pod situation.
So a 4-pod situation, you would play all the teams in your pod,
and then one from each, and then cycle.
That would be 7. So but you're still already playing. They're playing 7 SEC teams. So
yeah, I guess I would. It wouldn't change. But that's a realignment from your normal East to West.
For sure.
And the projections I saw, they had South Carolina stuck with Georgia, Florida, and Kentucky.
Of course, yeah,
because you guys.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
But Georgia and Florida, we could handle that.
But Auburn and Alabama, was it Auburn, Alabama?
Not scared of Auburn. We beat them when we were turd.
Yeah,
they're one of our 2 wins last year.
That's true.
I'll take it.
Were there only 2 wins last year?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
I was at one of them, the Vanderbilt game.
Well, hey, it's good they beat Vanderbilt because that was almost always a gimme game. And then it became a gimme game. I don't know.
It's been like 12 years.
The Vanderbilt games that I went to were always on the weekend that the state fair overlapped.
Yes.
And it was always like, oh, this is a great game. Going to go to the game.
No.
After the game, going to go down to state fair, get to, whatever.
I hate the state fair.
Well, all right, we'll talk about that. We're going to take a break here in a second. But what I'll say is, like, I always thought, oh, it's the Vanderbilt game. This is the gimme game. And then they'd lose. They would lose to Vanderbilt.
How many years ago, Barrett? Because we haven't lost in like literally 12 to 13 years.
Is that right?
Yeah.
All right, it may have been 12 to 13 years. It's entirely possible.
It's been a whooping. And the last time they beat us was like 07 or 08. And Spurrier was like, can't call them the Commodes anymore.
Yeah, fair enough. I think Spurrier was still coaching. Yeah,
and that was over 5 years ago.
Oh, I don't have season tickets to the Carolina games.
No,
anymore.
I watch every game. I mean,
yeah.
But Carolina baseball is still my favorite. But football gets your blood pumping in a different way.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna take a break. When we come back, I do want to discuss the fake Uber murder trial that's going on right now. I'm sure you've seen that in the news. No idea. Well, then I will be enlightening you.
Yes.
You'll recognize some of the information from it. But we're gonna talk about that and some other stuff, Loki included, because
yes.
Yeah. I have some opinions. Have you watched Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow?
I watched everything.
Okay.
There's nothing I haven't seen.
We will discuss that here when we come back from the break. The All About Nothing podcast. Hey everyone, I want to take a quick moment to mention one of our new sponsors, thepaintedmoment.com. That's thepaintedmoment.com. Check this out. Have you ever taken a photo with your phone or digital camera that would look amazing as a watercolor canvas painting? Well, now there's a website ready to take your photo and turn it into digital painted moments. This is how it works. Visit thepaintedmoment.com, follow the instructions, and your digital photo will be enhanced and returned to you with links on where you can have an image printed to canvas or whatever else you'd like to do with it. We've already got a couple of these enhanced photos hanging around the house, and trust me, you'll love what comes out. Thepaintedmoment.com. Create a painted moment in time from your digital photos. Thepaintedmoment.com. Seriously, check them out today. Thepaintedmoment.com. We have to thank our sponsor, GOT Sound Studio, and its owner and operator, Dominique Stewart, better known as Neek the Geek. GOT Sound Studios offers a variety of recording experiences from music, voice, and instrumental recordings and production, as well as podcasts. GOT Sound Studio is located in Columbia, South Carolina, and operated by the most talented producer and engineer in the business. GOT Sound Studio is a Black-owned business. Bring your recording business needs here. You can find details on their Facebook page or by calling 803-243-2302 or emailing gotsounds@theallaboutnothing.com. That's gotsounds@theallaboutnothing.com. You can find links in the Friends of the Pod section of our website. Visit theallaboutnothing.com. All right, Nothingers, I want to cue you in about a friend of the pod, Blank Canvas Brand. If you own a business or restaurant and the time has come to build that unique brand, you have got to get a hold of Blank Canvas Brand. Blank Canvas Brand specializes in brand identity, including logos, business cards, flyers, and anything else to promote your business. And now, Blank Canvas Brand offers printing services to help with your clothing needs, including sports teams. I can tell you from our own experience, Blank Canvas Brand is responsible for our logo, as well as the Bowl of Duty bowling team logo, and we couldn't be happier with what's been produced. For more information, you can search Facebook for Blank Canvas, or you can email Blank Canvas at theallaboutnothing.com. That's BLNKCANVS at theallaboutnothing.com. You can find links in the Friends of the Pod section of our website. Visit theallaboutnothing.com. All right, welcome back to the All About Nothing podcast. I don't know why I weirdly paused there.
I don't know. I just looked over and saw Bernie, who we're so gracious to have in here today.
Thank you for joining us, Bernie.
But I miss Trent.
yeah. And again, we won't get into why Trent's not here, but we do look forward to his return and everyone being well. So
yeah.
I don't know if that gives away too much.
Yeah.
We were going to have some guests on the show today, but hopefully we'll get that lined up for next week. And that
I'm
should
very
be
excited.
Yeah, yeah. First of all, just shout outs to their podcast. So if you if you're interested in any sort of true crime podcasts, this is serial killers and stuff like that. You can check out Status Macabre. I know they're on iTunes. They're on virtually everything. I feel pretty sure, but it's been. I've listened to a lot of their episodes, maybe all of them.
I listened to their latest two-parter.
I think
so. They do murder mystery type things, and this last one was like basically the first female serial killer.
Yeah,
I was like, oh.
Yeah,
because you never really see that. It's always, and they've apparently covered Pee Wee Gaskin, so I got to go back and watch that.
Yep,
and that's a famous South Carolina serial killer.
If you check them out this week, they should be recording and we'll be talking about Joseph Mengele, the Angel of Death, which if you know anything about history from World War II,
he's a bad dude.
Yeah, he was the architect of basically all
goat feed on children and stuff. Yeah,
he's the one that orchestrated almost the entire what's the word? The Jewish
experimentation.
Yeah, the experimentation.
The genocide.
The genocide, all of it, the gassing of Jews during
taking the
Auschwitz,
taking the twins and subjecting twins to certain kinds of torture
to see which ones
can you read each other's minds and stuff.
Yeah, Joseph Mengele was a bad dude, and from things that I've read about him, like he operated outside of the order of Hitler. Like some of the things he did.
Oh yeah, he was basically like, don't talk to Joseph. He's a little woo.
Yeah,
and they just let him go.
Yeah, and honestly, I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that the fear that it put into the Allies. Mm-hmm. You know,
as long as it's Jews and gypsies and stuff, let them go. Let them. Yeah. It's like, okay, come on now.
So check that out, Status Macabre. Chrissy and Carrie, you'll have to check their podcast. Hopefully, we'll get them in here. And
Gabrielle's disappointed that they're not going to be on here. That's for sure, because she loves murder mystery podcasts. And
wow.
I was like, you won't believe. But, yeah, we're gonna have them next week, and that should be
good. Also, want to shout out to Ryan Wilson, who is Chrissy's husband. Ryan apparently listens to the show based on what I've been told, and he enjoys us. Yeah, thank you, Ryan. We enjoyed. You played softball with him for a stint, and so hello, Ryan. Thank you for listening.
Yeah.
I don't know why I put on my weird, sexy voice, but that was
hello, Ryan.
Hello, Ryan.
Where are the other drugs going? Sorry, I went Batman.
Also, shout out to Jeffrey and Aaron that do the Tailblazers podcast. They returned from vacation, summer vacation. Yeah. They are back to recording, and hopefully they'll be kicking out a bunch of episodes. Their last episode was pretty interesting with some of their summer
they had a big banner going on.
Yeah.
One of them, I was like, oh, look at them.
Yeah.
Banners. We started a thing.
Yeah, that's right. So before we took a break, I mentioned that we were going to talk about the fake Uber murder trial, and I'm probably not describing that as well as I could intentionally. So the trial of Nathaniel Rowland began this week here in Columbia. Jury selection started on Monday. They've started the trial. They've got the jury. Rowland is being tried for kidnapping and murder of the 21-year-old Samantha Josephson back in 2019.
Right.
This was the incident where Samantha called for an Uber. A car showed up. She got in.
Wasn't the car.
Yeah, it wasn't the car. Never saw her again alive.
That's definitely what got people checking license plates and drivers.
For sure. Yeah. Samantha was in 5 points, and we assumed she believed that she was getting into the Uber that she had requested. Unfortunately, the vehicle that she entered was not the one that she had requested, but it was believed to be the man that is on trial this week for her kidnapping, stabbing, and murder. Rowland was arrested the next day in connection to her death as a hunter had found Samantha Josephson, Samantha Josephson, had found her body 21 miles away from Columbia while he was out hunting. The police indicated that Samantha's phone was found in the backseat of Rowland's car, along with her blood linking him directly to her. So it seems fairly open and shut, but you never know. There's always the possibility that
someone else is in the car.
Prosecutors could screw something up. Yeah. And I can't speak for everyone, but this one was one that left me in shock because this was. I'm sure that there's the potential that this has happened before. Someone's gotten into the wrong Uber, or that someone's gotten into the wrong taxi.
I feel that this has definitely happened before with an actual Uber.
Yeah, potentially, absolutely.
But that would be a very dumb thing to do too.
To repeat somebody else's crime.
Well, like who picked her up? If you're actually an Uber driver,
right?
David did.
Yeah.
All right. Well, like, okay, we know who last saw her alive.
Well, and I wonder if. And this is information I just don't have. I'm asking, but
hypothesizing.
Yeah, I wonder if when her actual Uber showed up, was it one of those situations where he sat there for a minute, he tried to get a hold of her, he couldn't get a hold of her, so he just kind of said, "Well, I'll put myself back available to get to do my next pickup."
I don't know. Whenever I've used Uber, I always track it, and like, there's been times you have to run down the block to find out where they are and be like, it's me.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Uber.
It's a blue expedition. Like, get in it.
I have only actually ever used Uber or Lyft once. I
don't care for it. It's very awkward.
Well, it's like I've only ever been in a taxi.
I've only been in a taxi once, and I hated it.
The times that I've gone to like New York City or other places, L.A., Washington, regardless, wherever I went, basically, we just walked. We went to Boston. We didn't take a taxi anywhere. We just walked everywhere.
That's how I was in D.C. Never took a taxi. Never took an Uber. Just walked.
Because and it's not that I'm not willing to spend the money. I don't know about the awkward conversations or.
But dude, yeah, you can get like I had a steampunk.
Really?
Like for Keith's actual birthday.
Okay.
Gabrielle took my truck with Eden and went home, and I took an Uber home later.
Okay.
And it was like a steampunk guy.
Really?
And that's I was like, we had the weirdest conversations.
When we say steampunk.
Oh, he had a top hat on.
Did he have like goggles?
He had like leather straps on his hat and stuff.
Wow.
Like, I got in. I was like, what the? Like, okay.
What was his? What kind of vehicle was it?
It was I think it was a Camry. No, it was a RAV4. It was a newer RAV4. It was a Toyota RAV4.
Did he have it sort of decked out on the inside?
No, man, it was clean.
Man, missed opportunity there.
That's the one thing I was like, dude, I know somebody who has a RAV4, and it's like older one, but I was like, this is nice. They've stepped up the RAV4 game. He was like, oh yeah, they're great cars. And then the conversation, I can't even like directly remember it all. I just remember being like, this is awkward. The whole thing's just awkward.
Yeah, I took an Uber to the Sister Hazel concert that you and I went to because I took an Uber to that, and then was going to take an Uber home. Ryan and then gave me a ride back, but I was actually going to use you to give me a ride back, but then you left halfway through the concert. I was like, he is really not enjoying this. It doesn't matter that the dude is sitting right behind us.
Mean mugging us. Yeah, that guy. Well, we have photographic evidence.
That's right.
He's just staring dead at us. We're trying to take a selfie, and there's this guy in the background, like directly staring. Like,
yeah.
Oh, creepy photo bomb.
Yeah.
He's just like, hey.
If I can find that photo,
it's on
I'll
Facebook.
Post it. Yeah, it's got to be. I'll repost that. Or I'll drop that. But it was a guy that when I looked at him, I didn't see the dude. I saw Billy Connolly from Boondock Saints.
I was talking about the other guy.
Oh, wait, which guy?
The big guy wearing all the Carolina stuff. He looked like a real life Peter Griffin with a Carolina hat on.
Did I see him?
Yeah, because he
was he photobombed us.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, not the guy who looked like Billy Connolly. That guy was cool.
Yeah.
No, there was a guy who looked like Billy Connolly.
We took a picture of him.
Yeah, we told him, we were like, you know who
him.
Billy Connolly is? He's like, no.
I was like, do you know who the dude is? He was like, oh yeah, people call me the dude all the time. I was like,
he was the Billy Connolly or the dude. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, from Big Lebowski, if you don't know who we're talking about.
Yeah, we definitely got to post that photo.
Holy crap. I didn't even start the timer. See, that's 3 in. That's what that is.
That's what Guinness does to you.
Yeah.
Oh, give me a pint of that horse piss called Guinness.
Oh, that's sad.
I was joking.
So yeah, it was that was the one time I cannot say that. I have had an Uber twice.
Okay. I've done a bunch of them, but Gabrielle introduced me to Ubers.
Yeah, sorry, I hit the table and all the springs start. So the first time I took an Uber was to Lexington, city of Lexington, town of Lexington, whatever, for the Sister Hazel concert that we went to. The next time I heard it, the next time I took an Uber was my buddy Barnes and I were coming back from the Smashing Pumpkins concert, and
that'd be a concert to go to.
It was fantastic. In fact, it had one of your favorite bands playing. Coheed.
Coheed did not play with Smashing Pumpkins. Are you shitting me?
It was they were the opening. They were the opening band before.
Not in Columbia.
No, this was in Charlotte. I promise.
Now I feel like slighted a little.
Well, I didn't know who they were.
Coheed and the Smashing Pumpkins. I didn't know that they ever got together.
No. They weren't playing together. They were the opening band before one of the Gallagher brothers. Oasis was playing before. This was like 2 years ago, 2019.
Coheed's not an opener, man. They're co-headliners.
I gotta check to see.
Now you gotta check, yeah.
Well, anyway, so to finish that story, basically it rained on the way home. Construction in Charlotte sucks, and Michael Barnes lost control of the truck, drove it into one of the barriers in the construction.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that. Yeah,
that was an $80 Uber trip back from Charlotte to Columbia.
Oh, man.
I know how much it costs to Uber from Charlotte to Columbia.
Worst. I think it was $12 from Ballantyne to Irmo.
The thing I felt the worst about, which Uber, the thing I felt the worst about.
Wait, we didn't get murdered.
Yeah, we didn't. Well, yeah, for sure. But the thing I felt the worst about was for this particular Uber driver, he was driving us from Charlotte to Columbia. I doubt that there were many rides going back from Columbia to Charlotte.
Oh yeah, he was probably like,
so that was
bitch.
I tipped him pretty well. I tipped him through the app, and I also gave him cash.
Yeah,
because it sucked.
Nothing beats the Mr. Beast Uber from North Carolina to California.
That was a. Yeah, it was an uncomfortable ride too, and that no,
dude, for like an hour.
It was an hour and a half, but it was also at like 1:30 in the morning. Oh, so Barnes and I are both already extremely tired, but we're maintaining conversation between the two of us because I'm pretty sure the driver's falling asleep. It was an unbelievably uncomfortable ride.
Then you're all three taking another Uber.
It was raining so hard at one point, but water was somehow coming in the gasket around the around the window, passenger side window.
Yeah.
So I had water that was hitting me as we were driving. And it was a nice car. I don't remember what kind of car it was, but it was a nice car. So it didn't make any sense as to why he had water leaking into the car. But it was happening.
Bad seal, or he didn't close his door enough.
I feel like I closed enough. I even offered to, we stopped at a gas station because he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna have to get gas." And I was like, "Let me fill it up." So tips, Uber cost, and gas. I paid for his gas at least going down. So
that sounds like a terrible Uber ride.
It was an awful experience. Yeah. But it was an awful experience outside of
how good is
Smashing Pumpkins. It was such a good concert.
Yeah.
I don't know. You're gonna have to talk while I look at the sea.
Well, I sent you recently. Coheed released a new song.
I already listened to it.
It's rad, isn't it?
It's really good.
It gives you that. They're very prog rock. If anyone hasn't listened to it, it's Coheed and Cambria. My daughter's middle name is named after that band. I've been a fan for. Oh God, it's probably coming up on 20 years now.
Right.
But it's my version of your fandom over Ben Folds. I have signed stuff
AFI.
from them. I know the drummer.
It wasn't Coheed and
AFI, A Fire Inside. I know. Hey, Miss Murder, can I? Yeah,
is that who that is?
Yeah.
I don't know. I drank through that one. I didn't know who they were. We saw Noel Gallagher, who is obviously not the writer of Oasis. He's the artist. He's the singer.
Did everyone leave when he said, "Oh, maybe"? All right. No, we don't need to hear this again.
No, it was good. It was.
Was it the first time you saw Noel Gallagher play?
It was the first time I've seen him in 20 years. and play. Come on, he just sings.
I've never seen Oasis. I probably wouldn't do it.
Oh, I've seen Oasis. I've seen Oasis a couple times.
I mean,
it was a long
I don't
time
hate
ago.
on them or anything, but like they.
Well, that was like we had a discussion one time. You're like, oh, they only had one hit, and I was like, no, they had like 9 hits. They,
Oh yeah, Oasis had a few hits, but I thought Sister Hazel had like 5 that were like.
Oh yeah, for sure. Now I can listen to an entire Sister Hazel album and listen to the entire thing, but like, I don't. I can't. I don't know. I can listen to Oasis.
I think I would sit through a Blues Traveler concert longer than I would like a.
I've seen some good Blues Travelers concerts because his solos go on for like 5 or 6 minutes, and you're like, how on earth does he do that with the harmonica?
Yeah, when someone bangs out like Aerosmith.
Yeah,
I've seen them twice live and sat through the whole thing. I saw them in '98 and then like 2004.
I went to Boston to watch a Cake concert, and it was called An Evening with Cake. They did one show. They did not have an opening band. And then they were like, all right, we'll come back out in about 45 minutes for the second show. Yeah. And it's like, we got 2 hour-and-a-half long shows with a 45-minute break in between. It was a 3.5 hour show.
That's amazing. Coheed's done that where they'll have like they had Foxing was a band that opened for them.
Yeah.
What's cool about every time I've been to 6 Coheed concerts, and every time you go to one, they have a like Foxing. Every band that opens for Coheed is a band that I end up like really digging.
Yeah.
Thank You Scientists. They had one that is like one of my favorites now. It's called I the Mighty.
Okay.
And those dudes, that was the first Coheed concert Gabrielle had ever been to. I think that was my 3rd. I the Mighty came out. I heard 3 songs and they had like 1 or 2 more left to go. And I went and grabbed and bought all of their albums. They had 2. And I was like, oh, nope. And to this day.
Yeah, I mean, like you talked about fandom and whatnot. I am that way with like Ben Folds.
Yeah.
If the opportunity to go see a Ben Folds show within like an hour of Columbia, I'm probably going to try and go. He's got one coming up in Charlotte. Not Charlotte. Yeah, he's got one in Charlotte and one in Charleston. Super cool to be able to go to him. The one I want to go to though is the one that's in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. He's going to be performing solo with the Atlanta Symphony Orchestra. Which is also, it's like whenever he does those shows, it's amazing because he will compose a song on stage with the entire orchestra. Like they don't have any idea what it is.
He'll be like, follow along. We're gonna do like D. And
he'll be like, all right,
it's a key of G or whatever.
Yeah, he'll go. All right, violins. I need a key of E. Yeah. Flutes and clarinets. We're gonna go with key of.
Keep it a little dirty for me, and that kind of stuff. That's amazing.
It's
true artistic. Just know it like everything.
I was watched. So when he was stuck in Australia, Ben Folds was stuck in Australia during the pandemic, and he was down there basically because he was touring when it started, and then he just stayed. But one of the things that he started doing was a YouTube show he would do every week,
right?
Where he would just perform requests. And then when he did that for like 13 or 14 weeks,
was that like a pandemic thing?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, Dave Matthews
Hosier did it, and that was really cool.
Yeah. Except I can only hear Take Me to Church so many times.
No, Take Me to Church is like not even my favorite song.
Yeah, exactly. But Ben Folds started doing this thing where people would send him songs that they were composing, and he would be willing to just sit down and listen to it and see where he could. So this one girl sent in a video with her, and it was what sounded like one of the most complicated like Ben Folds songs, like technically, musically on the piano, and he does it he does it listening to it. He listens to it while he's recording himself and on YouTube. He puts the video on YouTube and whatnot. And he's watching and he's listening to her, and like I'm hearing a song that I can't believe I would ever be able to like follow along to, even if I was a terrific piano player. I don't think that I could have ever like picked up whatever. Man, Ben Folds just turns around and he goes, okay, I see what you're doing. And then he just launches right into it. Doesn't have music in front of him, doesn't have anything like that. He just starts playing exactly what she was playing. And he says, just do a lift here on this part and here. And that should work out. So he does it and he sends it back to her. And then he gives her a response and she's like, I cannot believe you picked up on basically you learned the entire song.
Yeah, like it's basically being like a prodigy of
a savant.
Some sort. A savant, yeah. That's like to be dead honest, and I'm no savant, but that's it, being in a band. That's how you formulate songs to a degree. You'll play it together and be like, that's what it's like, and then when you record it, parts may change, but that's the entire thing. When Trent and Dominique and I were playing together, they would have a beat and have a song, and then it was up to me to figure the chords out and figure a progression out and implement it. I'm no Ben Folds. Ben Folds probably been like, you should have put a tremolo here, and then you could have put a little bend here, and
but
you could have done a F major scale. Like that kind of thing is things that are innate for people who are like that, who can just click.
Right.
Me, I could play by ear. My brother could probably do even a better job. I taught him, and he picked it up. His learning by ear is insane.
Right.
That kind of thing. And Ben Folds sounds like he has that.
Yeah. Wynton Marsalis playing trumpet. I mean, there are talented instrumental players that can hear something and then just knock out some sort of ad-lib or something like that.
And talking about being like a fan, a true fanatic, I am one of those weirdos. When I find a band I like, and if it sticks with me for years, I will try to find out how to like communicate with you and like talk to you. Justin Osborne.
I was gonna say Justin. That's why Justin is.
Yeah. Like, and we're friends now, and that to me that's like awesome. Like mind blown.
Yeah.
But the drummer for Coheed, I lucked out. I found an inn when I was working in North Carolina that he wasn't in Coheed he had a heroin addiction. He's helped me communicate with my brother via that issue. Okay. But he wasn't playing in that anymore. He was in a band called Terrible Things, playing drums with the lead singer, who was the backup singer, lead guitarist for Taking Back Sunday, named Fred Mascherino.
Okay.
But the guy I was talking to knew the other guitar player, Andy Jackson, from Hot Rod Circuit. And if anybody knows who Hot Rod Circuit is, Andy Jackson's amazing. He has he was playing in the 90s with this band all the way up till like 2000.
Different
7,
from
8.
The pitcher Luke Jackson with the Braves.
Very, very different.
Very different.
But my buddy Chuck, he knew him.
Yeah.
They grew up together, and Chuck was like 40 at the time, so Andy's around his age. But they were from Alabama. They were coming to Columbia, and he contacted Andy, and Andy got me the early entrance backstage passes for New Brooklyn. Now, there's no such thing really as a backstage pass.
Sure, there
is.
It's that patio.
Yeah. When you sneak in the fence.
Exactly.
No, but this was cool because we got to
side.
go in way early before everybody else. And
they do check for masks. They did check for masks. So they're trying to come in through the backside.
Yeah. Well, it was cool because I just went up to the thing and I was like, me and my buddy Kenny, I was like, I should have 2 wristbands waiting. He goes, I have your 2 VIPs right here. And they were completely different from theirs. You get to drink for free whenever you had those. Beer, anything else was you had to pay for. But I got to meet Josh Eppard that night, the drummer for Coheed, and he and I just hit it off, man. He was really cool, and then I got to meet Taking Back Sunday is one of those bands too.
Yeah,
with Fred Mascherino. That night, Josh gave me his number because I was still doing music with Technique a little bit, and he would make beats with real drums and stuff like that, and I was like, I need one.
Yeah.
I never ended up getting a beat or anything, but we stayed in touch, and like he got back with Coheed, and we went and hung out and stuff like that. But with Fred Mascherino, we became friends, and he even offered to give me guitar lessons.
That's cool.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't have $200 right now, Fred, but I would totally do that. And he's one of those musicians, just like Ben Folds, who can sit there and hear something and be like, and just go with it. And I was like, I need to learn how to do that. But we were about to have Eden at the time. So I was like, I don't want $200 for this. So.
Yeah.
Shit. Gabrielle was cool. She was like, do it. And I was like, no, I can't. I was like, that wouldn't be very fatherly of me.
It would be a separation of like responsibilities.
I could use that for other things.
Yeah, I look forward to concerts and whatnot coming back and whatnot. Although looking at the numbers for some of the cities across the country is just depressing. I mean,
well, I'm glad Seuss is coming back around, and we weren't able to hit that one up due to circumstances.
I assume he'll come around soon again.
Oh yeah, he's going to go to Greenville, and I'll be up. I think I might go up there and see that one.
Okay,
that'd be cool because I've never really explored Greenville. And
Neek's got a concert coming up on the 29th down at New Brooklyn.
Ooh,
so
yeah, we'll be there.
Yeah,
on the stage.
I don't know if he wants
filming
us
a
to
podcast. Welcome to the All About Nothing.
Yeah. Well, at some point we're going to do a grand opening for the GOT Sound Studio here.
That's true.
And I think, and we'll discuss it with Nick, but I think one of the really cool things that we could do with that is that we could do a live podcast with people in an audience,
right?
Right outside the door
with a spit filter right on front of the microphone.
Right? Yeah. We'll have to catch all of that.
You're gonna have to wear a hazmat suit.
Yeah,
it'll be fine. No, we're just kidding.
No, at this point, a hazmat suit might be required. I don't know.
Who does know?
Let's see. I'm just going through some of the old show notes from previous episodes. We talked about Britney Spears last time we were in here. That poor girl.
Yeah, we need Chris. What's his name? Leave her alone.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that guy. Let's see. Connecticut legalized marijuana. We talked about that.
Oh, so lucky.
Yeah, I don't know that that's ever going to happen in South Carolina.
No, we'll be the last state.
It seems like regardless of
Austin will force Texas, and then it'll flow south.
Well, between Austin, Dallas, Fort Worth, Houston, San Antonio, they will eventually force the rest of Texas. Which I guarantee you, there's nowhere in Texas. You couldn't throw a rock and not hit somebody growing marijuana in Texas.
Joe Rogan can fuck around in Austin and say that he's not smoking weed. Yeah, you are. Of course you are. You don't have this massive weed thing going on in California. Move to Texas, be like, it's not legal here. We can't smoke here. You're not smoking on your show.
Yeah. First of all, it's Joe Rogan. He's probably smoking on his show.
You ever done DMT? No. You want to? We've crossed the line here, Joe.
I don't know what it is. I don't like Joe Rogan. I'll listen to his podcast for some of the interviews, but there's just something about him. I just don't like him.
Were you a Fear Factor fan at all?
I did enjoy Fear Factor.
News radio or whatever?
I did enjoy News Radio. But see, on News Radio, he was a bumbling idiot. Well, I mean, he's kind of a bumbling idiot now, but...
Yeah. No, he admits he's stupid.
Yeah, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, but that's his whole thing. So if you view him in his episodes, and I'm not here to defend.
Yeah, I understand.
But
someone should.
If you look at him through
free plug.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan.
If you look through him through the dumbass lens, and he's just going to ask every question, and hopefully at some point he's going to ask a question that you would like him to ask, he pretty much does.
Yeah, he does.
And that's what I want Elon Musk to be asked the hard questions.
I agree.
What about aliens? And Elon's ass is over there basically I am one. That kind of thing. I enjoy that. When he talks to Neil deGrasse Tyson, I love Neil deGrasse Tyson. Yeah. Love him.
Yeah.
And he looks at Joe, and that's when Joe will start to tiptoe because he's dealing with a PhD
someone in intelligence.
Yeah. He's like, Joe, here's why what you just asked is a non-starter or non sequitur. It's a dumb conversation. When the moon landing was faked, Joe Rogan was a big time believer that the moon landing was faked. It was Neil deGrasse Tyson that was A, B, C, D. You can't see the stars because it's 1969. How good are the cameras?
Right.
They're not picking up that the aperture isn't designed to pick up stars.
Not stars and the actual direct sunlight they're actually getting.
You're lucky you're picking up the moon with a 5-minute delay or whatever it was. It's it makes sense. Is the Earth flat? No. Here's how we know. Egyptians knew that the Earth wasn't flat, that kind of thing.
Well, yeah. Tens of thousands of years of human evolution have determined that the Earth was not flat. We have cavemen that knew that the Earth was not flat.
It's kind of an insult to people who burned at the stake for saying the Earth was not the center of the universe, and that there's still people out there now I don't know, Earth might be hollow or something.
Galileo lost his head.
Yeah, Galileo, and then Copernicus. Burned at the stake.
It's crazy.
Thank you, Catholic Church.
Yeah, exactly.
We appreciate that.
Yeah, no, it's I don't know what it is. Like I said, I appreciate when Joe. I think what it is sometimes Joe.
He's
Rogan,
famous enough to get the good people.
Yeah, but he's also famous enough to get the people that don't need to have a voice.
He'll have MMA fighters on there.
Yeah. My gosh. Okay. Yeah. So when he has MMA fighters on there,
or Joey Diaz or
who's the guy that's on InfoWars?
Gay Frogs. Fuck him. I'm so glad I can't remember his name.
Yeah, I can't remember his name. You know what's gonna happen is it's gonna hit me on the way home. I'm like, oh man, now is not the time.
It's Mac or something. It's
Jones.
Matt.
No. something Jones.
Alex Jones.
Alex Jones.
There it is.
Gosh. Yeah, you know what? This is probably the most opportune time to remember that because I don't want to remember it later.
No.
I don't want to be laying in bed, going to sleep and going like, Alex Jones.
And you keep hearing, you've been watching TikTok a little bit. There's like one TikTok goes around where they'll put it on animals or whatever, but it's him from Joe Rogan's podcast talking to one of the MMA fighters.
Yeah.
He's like, "You idiot, you dumb motherfucker,"
Yeah.
like that stuff. And I'm just like, I forgot he had him on there.
Yeah,
but it made him look like the imbecile he is.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. And again, I think it's also partially that Joe Rogan used to look like a normal human being. And then
he's like
he became famous.
He's like a 5'7" muscle bag.
Yeah, and
he shoots elk.
And it's also built on the fact that like I used to watch the MMA fights with friends of mine. Like we had a whole group that would do volleyball every Sunday night, every Wednesday night. We did volleyball, and on Saturday nights we would watch the MMA fights. You know, they would pay for MMA fights. We'd bring food, we'd bring drinks, whatever. But like Joe Rogan, of course, is the ringside announcer.
Yeah, he does a good job at it.
He didn't used to.
You don't think
he's.
I think he even admitted that it was something he had to like wade into a little.
Well, and that's entirely possible. But like this was around the time that he was still doing. What's the Fear Factor? He was still doing Fear Factor, so he was still normal size human being. His head was not.
He wasn't bald.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. He got big, man, and I saw a TikTok.
Steroids will do that.
I don't think he's on steroids.
You don't think so?
No, he's probably taking his alpha brain or whatever the hell it's called. That shit.
I got you. He's dipping into the stuff he's selling.
It's going to be way more out there than just steroids.
Yeah, he's not rubbing and everything.
His kicks, they had a TikTok with him kicking this bag.
Really?
It like registered off the charts. Like that's a man who could whoop somebody's ass, but he's on the precipice of like, I'll whoop his ass, but it's coming back. It's like for every action, there's an equal or opposite reaction. I still would never talk shit to that man.
Yeah, of course.
He would chase you down. Dude, if it wasn't Joe Rogan, he has the physique of who Wolverine should be in a movie.
Yeah.
Short and just muscular and pissed.
Have you seen the meme out there though? That's they're hoping that I guess they're trying to get this guy to replace Jackson Hugh Jackman for the part. He's some Canadian. He's like 5'7". He's
apropos then.
Yeah, he's a comedian or something like that. But like the argument is, well, you turned Chris Pratt and Paul Rudd into superheroes. This guy would be perfect. He's already Canadian. Yeah. You could just turn him into, he could become Wolverine.
Well, you turned Ryan Reynolds into Deadpool.
Oh, for sure.
Well, all credit to Ryan Reynolds turned himself into Deadpool.
Yeah, he did. He took that. He campaigned on that for himself.
He was on Smart List last week, and that was a fantastic. He even talked about the Hugh Jackman argument.
That's great.
He's like, Hugh Jackman is such the nicest person that you just hate him for it because you want that like comfort and you want that type of like just sincerity in yourself. Yeah. He goes, so I jab at him, and he, if nothing but a sportsman, he gives it back.
It's the ones that they do together where Hugh Jackman is sitting there talking about I don't know if it was his birthday, Ryan Reynolds' birthday, or he's like I just want to wish my good friend Ryan Reynolds the happiest of 55th birthdays. And Ryan Reynolds is only like 44. Or
yeah.
But then like the camera pans around and you see Deadpool sitting on the bed behind him. I loved the video that he just did. They did a review. It was Deadpool and the character from that Tiki Waititi plays in
Korg. The reviewing. They reviewed Free Guy, but
that's what it was. The trailer for Free Guy.
I wish they would have, because he talked about the beginning. He was like, I reviewed the Cruella. Where the hell are the Dalmatians?
Yeah,
like that. I want to see that even more than the Free Guy one. Yeah. But having Tito Waititi or however you say his name, him in it as Korg again.
Oh yeah.
And technically, that's his introduction to the MCU.
Exactly, absolutely is.
We take it.
So for the last 10 minutes, we're gonna get into the Loki. So spoilers ahead for those of you that have not watched the end of Loki or any of Loki. I sent you that link.
Yeah.
That indicated
perfectly timed.
Yeah. There's in the last episode around the 27.5-minute mark, there is and it's pure acting, and it was terrific.
Fantastic because when you're watching Loki by itself, when this scene comes up, when he meets Kang,
it just doesn't make any sense.
Or they call him He Who Knows All, or whatever.
No, he who has he who still exists, or he.
It's something like that.
Yeah.
You have no idea why he stops like that for a moment when they're. You're like, what the hell's going on? He's realizing something.
Yeah,
and
you can tell. So he's giving this very non-verbal acting, and it was fantastic. Yeah. This is the guy that was in Country. No, it was on HBO. Love Country.
So that's where he's from?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. So essentially, so spoilers. He's playing
Lovecraft
Kang.
Country.
Lovecraft Country. This gentleman is playing Kang.
And the non-conqueror part of Kang.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, no,
he's Kang, but he's not Kang the Conqueror.
Right, but he is one of the iterations.
He's the
Kang.
first.
Yes. And as you're watching around this 27.5-minute mark, he does this thing where he just kind of, you can tell he's feeling something. You can tell that he's realizing something.
He's looking around like he's watching something that you can't see.
Right.
He's reacting to it quietly.
At that exact moment that is occurring, if you were to watch WandaVision, and you were to match the time up to those two episodes, the what is happening in WandaVision is when she becomes Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, and she basically rips a hole into the multiverse. Right.
So she is at that point basically acquiring all of her power. She doesn't know how to use it, of course, but she is becoming the Scarlet Witch, which if mutants were a thing in the MCU at that time, she'd be like an Xavier or Magneto level mutant.
I think the one part that I think you could adjust it even more is at the end of WandaVision. And again, if you haven't seen WandaVision, that's a shame on you.
That's coming from the guy that didn't really like it.
But the last episode is very, deals this.
Yeah.
But I think he could even you could have timed it up where he's seeing Wanda Maximoff look through the book.
Oh, yeah.
While she's doing this, that could have even been... You probably could have matched that moment up as well.
Yeah.
Because that's where she is scouring the multiverse.
She's trying to find her kids.
Right. I think even that could have been the reason he freaked out, even more so than when she became truly Scarlet Witch.
Well,
because she's peering through the book that's giving her the channel to the multiverse, which no one else had that ability.
Right.
So I think that could even.
I think the only one that the Sorcerer Supreme. So Doctor Strange.
But the ancient one was the only one who was aware of it and never mentioned it until she met Doctor Strange.
Right.
She didn't necessarily even mention it to Hulk at Infinity War when he came to get it. She said, "Here's time. Here's where you're going to mess it up if you do this.
Right.
And you need to go back and fix it." So she mentions the sacred timeline in Infinity War.
Yeah.
But doesn't say that's okay. She makes sure to say it needs to be fixed.
Right.
So maybe she's very much aware of like the TVA and stuff.
Or that was Kang.
She was stealing
putting that in motion.
She was stealing from the multiverse, the Dark Realm, for her to be alive.
Right. Correct.
So that was part of that as well.
Yeah.
Another Easter egg, real quick, is when they go to the end of time when Loki's pruned and he meets the other Lokis who have also been pruned. You see a certain train car that Spider-Man stopped in Spider-Man.
I missed that. I missed that.
Yep, sitting right there.
I was impressed that the USS Eldridge showed up.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool.
That was cool, and the Thanos copter.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I did see that. Yeah,
they had it all, and Frog Thor.
USS Eldridge, if you don't know, the United States after World War II believed that they could perhaps cloak a battleship, basically. That they had it was called the Philadelphia Project, and the idea was if they could run electricity through the hull of the ship, that they could potentially make it invisible to enemy radar. The conspiracy theorists will tell you that what they believed happened, and I'm sorry that Trent is not here to hear this, but what they believe happened was there are conspiracy theorists that will say that the ship actually disappeared completely, and there were reports of sailors from that ship that actually walked into a bar some 40 years before that. 30, 20 years, something before that.
Right.
They walked into a bar. When the ship reappeared, the USS Eldridge, when it reappeared where they were doing the testing, there were men that were trapped in the bulkheads that they had become attached to the actual ship. And so they're
kind of like carbonite, like Han Solo.
Well, I mean, like on the deck, there were guys that were halfway
in and out.
Yeah. So there's that, but the fact that they included that the USS Eldridge in Loki was really cool.
If they would have had the ship in the desert from Close Encounters,
that'd
have been cool.
That would have been cool. Yeah, Loki was really fantastic. I was disappointed in the last scene.
Well, it left you with like massive questions.
Yeah, for sure. So spoilers, if you haven't seen it yet, essentially what you have is that Loki, who he gets pushed back to where the TVA is by his female counterpart of him,
Sylvie.
And he gets pushed back to TVA, but he drops into the location where he was being basically mentally abused with that repeating of him breaking up with that girl, or the girl breaking up with him.
Oh no, where he cut her hair.
That's right. It was she. Okay.
Yeah. What's her name? It's one of the Guardians that Thor fights with. Yeah.
She showed up in Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
He had cut her hair. Years and years ago.
As a prank. But yeah, so he gets dropped back into that room, and I guess in his head he was like, "Oh, we're gonna go through this again."
Well, then he finds Mobius and
he leaves the room, finds Mobius,
Enforcer 82 or whatever, 32,
and Mobius does not recognize him.
He doesn't recognize him. He thinks he works because he's wearing TVA attire, so he's like, well, "What apartment are you from?"
Yeah.
Wow. What?
And then when they look out, you don't see
you don't see
the three lizards, the three
animatronic
timekeepers.
Yeah.
You see the one Kang.
Mm-hmm.
So clearly that timeline has changed.
And then in turn, the TVA, those variants in their timelines must have been reset.
Right, everything has reset.
But still taken and becoming part of the TVA.
Oh, right.
So I'm wondering if the black chick that Mobius reported to.
Yes.
I think she's the chick that falls in love with Kang, basically.
I think that's correct.
And so it makes you wonder, because I can't remember what exactly happened to her. She didn't die.
No, she went through a door.
She went through a door. So maybe she met up with Kang the Conqueror, the real one.
Maybe.
Who knows? And what if she's still in charge and she's fully aware of what just happened?
Well, and how many versions of the TVA are there now?
Right.
But
then you got to think of that city and time that is in the quantum realm that Ant-Man goes to. Right. I think that's where the TVA exists anywhere, but the city of the Tower of Time or the City of Time, whatever that is, it all links up because Kang the Conqueror is in the new Ant-Man movie that's coming out.
Right, he's the bad guy in that.
And it is Jonathan, what's his name, playing him, same guy.
Yep.
That's crazy.
That's how we knew that it was Kang in Loki, was because we knew he's playing him Kang in the new Ant-Man.
Yeah, the
quantum realm or quantum
something.
Yeah,
I want to say quantum leap, but it is not quantum leap.
The
Scott Bakula comes in like, I have to be him. Yeah.
the names that they use in these things.
You
forgot I had that one, didn't you?
You better do everything you can as Loki, Scott.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really cool what they're doing with Marvel, but I'm also excited about Suicide Squad coming out.
It looks fantastic.
It does.
Have you seen the Nathan Fillion's part in that yet? They released a clip of it. He's a detachable kid.
Is he really?
Yeah, and so his arms can come off, and basically, like they're getting shot at, and he's like, "Let me handle this." And Nathan Fillion gets on his knees on like this beach that's being bombarded by these soldiers.
Yeah.
And he just detaches his arms, and his arms go over to them, and he's basically going like, bah, 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 like slapping them, and they're all like, "Quit!" And Harley Quinn and Rick Flag are like looking at him like, I don't know. Rick Flag and Harley Quinn goes, "What the?" And Rick Flag goes, "I didn't pick the team."
It looks really good. I'm excited.
So
it comes out next week?
Yeah, I heard it's.
It'll be on HBO Max.
Yeah, but I heard
theaters.
It's violent.
That's all right.
No, like The Boys violent.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
that's all right. I'll live.
Oh yeah.
I look
James Gunn can do no wrong. I mean, I think he's great.
I do too.
I love that he includes Nathan Fillion in every one of his movies.
Does he every single time?
First Guardians of the Galaxy. Remember when they go to prison?
Yes.
The blue guy who starts talking crap and Groot sticks his fingers up his nose. That was Nathan Fillion.
I didn't realize that. Yeah. Goodness. Yeah. Well, I am curious to see how the reset with Kang is going to affect everything. How
many Kangs are we going to find?
Right. Well, so we'll just before we end the show, I will say I did watch Black Widow.
Black Widow was great. I love David Arbor as Red Guardian.
Sure,
he nailed it.
The only and while I enjoyed the movie for being the movie, I have a hard time wrapping my head around what was the point in that movie, except that apparently there were some deleted scenes or there were alternate scenes that we didn't see, but we didn't see on purpose.
Well, Natasha Romanoff was murdered with no backstory given to her. Just Hawkeye's getting a TV show and stuff like that. Like, she needed that, and I loved it. Here's something that just occurred to me. He's arm wrestling these guys in the gulag, right? And Ursa comes up, and he's definitely going to be Ursa Major.
Yep.
And he's talking about, I fought Captain America. And this is Red Guardian saying, I fought Captain America when? He's like, 1983, 84.
Yeah, he was frozen then.
Multiverse.
Yeah. Yeah. So
what if he did?
Well, so when that took place, though, that was before. So, okay.
No, he was still under the ice in 1983 or 84
in the sacred timeline.
Yes. What if that's part of the multiverse? Like a deja vu snippet where he actually did, because in the comics that's the first when Captain America, he's not even fighting he's fighting the Chinese,
right?
And he comes across fighting the Red Guardian, who is his Russian counterpart,
right?
Who doesn't? I don't think he uses a shield either back then. He didn't use a shield.
I don't remember a shield. But.
No, but he's fighting. I remember him he's fighting the Chinese, and then he comes across Red Guardian in that. But I think if you take the multiverse into effect, I think that could be a little snippet. Maybe Red Guardian did actually fight Steve Rogers.
So the deleted scene that...
Well...
Oh, go ahead.
He doesn't say Steve Rogers, does he? He says Captain America.
Yeah, he just says Captain America.
What if the multiverse comes into effect and the Falcon as Captain America comes back at some point to fight him? Well, maybe you'll have Avengers 1983.
Oh, yeah.
Like something like that. There's so many. So it's... To dismiss it would be foolish at this point because...
Well, yeah, no, you can't... I don't think there's anything that's put into these movies that isn't put into those movies on accident.
Well, once Loki was over and everyone was able to see the final product of Loki and that the multiverse is open, Marvel heads sat down with everybody, like directors and stuff, and had a do's and don'ts of the multiverse conversation.
Oh, yeah.
So
they keep it very close.
Well, and like that makes you think that... It was cool when they in Endgame when they went back in time.
Right.
You can tilt anything on your head and make it so malleable.
I absolutely believe that we are not done seeing Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow. And the only reason I say that, so the deleted scene that apparently is floating around out there is when her sister goes to visit her grave. Did she whistle?
It was Catherine, what's her name, the purple-haired chick that came up.
Okay. You're talking about...
at the end of...
Right. But there's so the whistle, though, that Scarlett Johansson, that Natasha would do when they were younger, when they were children. So the deleted scene, you hear the response whistle.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so there's a deleted scene out there that has Natasha's whistle responding back to her sister.
I didn't see that.
So, and I wasn't sure what the whole point of that was, except that what's her name? The woman from Seinfeld that shows up.
Oh, that's Julie Louis-Dreyfus.
She's the
I can't remember her name.
Well, she shows up and basically tells her that
she's building the anti-Avengers team.
Right.
So she has her knockoff Black Widow, which she is still a Black Widow, but
right.
now she has her knockoff secret agent,
yeah.
U.S. agent, played by Kurt Russell's son.
Yep.
That guy. So
and the Thunderbolts.
Yeah. That's what she's building. So you're gonna have I don't think we're done with any of the Avengers.
Oh yeah,
I think you're gonna get Chris Evans back. I think you're gonna you will get Robert Downey Jr. back.
Yep.
I think they needed a break. I think all of them needed a break for a little bit so they could build what they're building now.
Right.
I think because we're in phase 5.
Phase 4.
Still phase 4. I think you get through phase 4, you have about 10 years of phase 4 going on. Something like that.
5 years, yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, phase 5 is supposed to come in sometime around 2024.
So give it a little time.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna have people come back. You're gonna have the multiverse in full effect.
It's comic books. Nobody ever really dies. We have Superman. We kill off.
But I'm even talking about actors. Like they asked. The guy who plays Loki, would you come back?
Hiddleston.
Yeah, Tom Hiddleston. Yeah, would you come back? And he's like, I would play him for life.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think they love. I like, and that's not to say that the one-offs where Chris Evans does an ABC, he does an Apple Plus series where that's unavailable now. He's the father of a child who's accused of murder.
Right.
When Robert Downey Jr. goes off to do a movie with the judge, where his father is the judge. I cannot. Robert Duvall.
Yeah.
Fantastic movie. I don't mind. I like seeing the other characters break away and go do those other shows.
Yeah. He has a podcast too.
Oh, who?
Robert Downey.
Does he really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I wonder how often he gets asked about.
I haven't listened to it. Yes.
Wonder how often he gets asked about. So when are you going back?
Yeah. What happened?
You're not willing to make $28 million for 2 hours of work?
Well,
Come
and
on.
it brings you all the way back around. I want to see Riri Williams be.
Oh yeah.
Iron Man.
Yeah.
I mean, you can have it all now. Like, the multiverse is open.
Well, now that Loki has opened up or because of the events of Loki have opened up the multiverse, now we might get an explanation as to what is it that happened to Rhodey. Why did all of a sudden in Iron Man 1, Rhodey went from one guy to Tom Cheadle?
Yeah. So. Well, and I think DC kind of knew that it was heading that way because Flashpoint is all about bringing in the Crisis on Infinite Earths, and you're gonna have back Michael Keaton as Batman.
I assume that they are going to take into effect the fact that there's already been a Flashpoint as well in the DC universe.
Yeah. Well, I think this will be Flashpoint from what I understand.
So this will.
They want
because with the
guy who plays Negan and the guy who plays the. Oh my gosh,
it's hard.
They're from
Aging
The Walking Dead.
man.
I haven't watched The Walking Dead in so long. The guy who plays Negan and Maggie.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So they're Bruce Wayne's parents in yeah,
interesting.
They're Bruce Wayne's parents in Batman vs Superman.
Okay.
In the multiverse, when Bruce Wayne actually dies in the robbery, and he becomes Batman who uses guns and murders, and she becomes the Joker.
Oh,
they both now are pushing to have them
added to
do
this.
that to become Thomas Wayne and Martha Wayne. Where I would love a female Joker, a Martha Wayne Joker coming around.
Yeah, that would be good.
I know we're going all over the place. Multiverse opens up everything. Yeah, Marvel side and then Infinite Earth.
The DC.
Yeah,
it's really cool. We've gone over.
Oh,
of course we've gone over.
Who'd have thought?
Yeah, who would have thought that? Zach, thank you very much for being here this week.
We're here, Bernie. Thank you.
Yeah, Bernie.
Barrett,
I'm sorry the microphone moved from your face.
There you go. Can you move? You haven't been vaccinated. Okay, yeah, keep it on.
No, he's been vaccinated.
Oh,
Bernie was vaccinated.
Oh, he's just one of those.
No, he was vaccinated.
Yeah,
like there's no way around that. As always, thanks, Zach King. Thank you very much for being here. Hopefully, we'll get Trent back in here. Next week. As always, special thanks, of course, Neek the Geek engineer and producer, as well as owner and operator of GOT Sound Studio. If you want to book any time, you can call 803-243-2302, or you can email gotsounds@theallaboutnothing.com. 2 hour minimum on booking. You can find details at gotsounds.com. I think I got that right. gotsoundstudio.com or gotsounds.com. Studio, GOT Sound Studio. Thanks, Neek. Great show, Zach. Thank you very much. As always, everybody stay safe. Make sure that you get yourselves vaccinated and
have a week.
This, the All About Nothing podcast, is recorded live in studio at the GOT Sound Studio in Columbia, South Carolina. The All About Nothing podcast is produced and engineered by Neek the Geek, owner and operator of GOT Sound Studio. To support the show, please visit theallaboutnothing.com for links to social media, merchandise, and more. Become a patron of the show by following the Patreon link at the top of our page. The All About Nothing podcast is an entertainment product of Barrett Gruber. Special thanks to Zach King, Trent Clark, Dominique Stewart, and you, our listeners. Please subscribe, rate, review, and share. If you're on YouTube, please hit the like button and the notification bell. Thank you for listening.